Y'all, thank you so much for being here. This is like... I've been living in Brooklyn for a long time, but I grew up in Louisiana. Nah. This is the thing, when you tell people that you grew up in Louisiana, whether you're at a party or a show, there's always somebody that's like, oh my gosh, I love New Orleans. And then I have to be like, yeah, that's not where I said I was from. Now, don't get me wrong, New Orleans is the best part. It's just the whole state around that city, you know what I mean? New Orleans to Louisiana is if you had the most beautiful blue eye, but your whole face is fucked up. Like, it's... I didn't say I was from a good part. And I was broke while I lived there too. And when you're poor in a place that's already terrible, you're just more aware that you're there. You know, I was very present in my situation. I knew if I moved, it was gonna be on foot, you know? And it's weird because sometimes you'll just be talking about your life. You'll tell someone that you grew up poor. And it starts a weird pissing contest you didn't mean to get into with anybody. You'll be talking about your life. I grew up poor. And they'll be like, oh, you think that's poor? Like, I'm not saying you weren't poor. I'm saying I was also being poor, all right? And they'll be like, I had a favorite flavor of dirt. And it's like, okay, all right. That's sad. That's sad. I'm not saying you weren't being poor over there. I'm just saying I was also poor over there. There's plenty of poverty to go around. I don't know if you've heard. Things are pretty bad for a lot of people. Just to give you an indication of how broke my neighborhood was, when I was little, my neighborhood was so poor that the church closed. If you understand the gravity of that situation, just imagine God being like, I ain't got it, all right? I don't know what to tell you. This is a bad neighborhood. I'm leaving, all right? I'm not dying again. I lived in Louisiana, didn't have any money. I moved to Chicago, was somehow poor. And now, living in New York is the first time in my life where I'm like making money, things are going well, able to take care of myself and my family and stuff like that. But it's crazy because all those years I had no money. And the first year I had any money, they taxed me like I always had money. That's pretty fucked up, isn't it? Like you can't give me like a leap year or something to make sure this sticks. I did the thing you're supposed to do. I pulled myself up over imaginary bootstraps people are always talking about. And as I'm edging my way up the cliff of poverty, the government is staying at the top like, we would like most of that money, please. Boop. And look, don't get me wrong, I grew up the beneficiary of tax programs. I have no problem paying my fair share of taxes. I just don't like the way that we have to pay taxes. Just tell me what I owe. Like, send me a bill. Don't make me count. This is their job, and if I do it bad enough, I go to jail. That sounds fucking insane. Because I owe whatever you say I owe, so just tell me what I owe. Because then when you get the number wrong, you get a letter from the IRS the next year where they're like, hey, you're actually off by like $2,000. So you know! How do you know how off I was unless you knew the number the whole time? This is a setup. We just don't do anything else like that when it comes to money, you know? Like you never go out to eat on a date and you sit down and you look at the menu, but there's no prices. But you order, you eat, you enjoy yourself. But then at the end of the meal, the server doesn't just walk up to you like, so, how much do you think it costs? Don't worry, I'll wait. Oh, and by the way, if you guessed wrong, there is an officer waiting outside. Like it's insanity. It's just crazy in a country like this, right? In a country with this much of a wealth gap, this much of a general income gap, where your financial well-being is left completely up to you with very little financial education to go out into the world with. It's crazy in a country like that, we still have game shows. That doesn't feel weird to anybody else that every night hundreds of people are getting on live national television to win life-changing amounts of money, and they lose and they still clap. That's the most Black Mirror shit we do. How has no one cursed on a game show yet? You went from $8,000 to zero. How has no one ever just looked down and been like, fuck? That's how we feel for them. Why aren't they freaking out? Every game show, they ask the contestants what they would do with the money, and the answer is almost always practical. You know, what would you do if you won tonight? And people are like, oh, I got some student loans I'd pay off. Love to pay off the rest of my auntie's house. Yeah. And then they lose. They go from $8,000 to zero, but by the time the camera pans to them, they're like, maybe next time. It's like, did they give you drugs before the show started? Why are you so calm right now? Host of a game show is always a millionaire. That doesn't seem to bother anybody. It's never someone with a median income that could be just excited for you if you won because they understand the stakes. It's always like Ellen DeGeneres. And she's leaned over next to you like she's your friend, you know? She's like, oh, wow. What are you gonna do? I mean, $50,000 is a lot of money, you know? I mean, not to me. No, I could buy and sell your children, all right? No, but for you, this is a lot of money, you know? And the audience is on your side. Don't you other poors want him to win? We live in an almost cashless society. You use your card for everything. You might use Apple Pay for the rest. And yet, when people are desperate enough, they'll still rob a convenience store or a bank, just get their hands some quick cash to feel like they have a chance. How has no one robbed a game show yet? If I was on Wheel of Fortune and I was in dire straits and I went from $100,000 to zero, I think I'd just be like, I'm sorry, Pat. I think we're gonna have to keep playing. No, fuck that. That was a bad spin. Let me spin again. That's bullshit. Let me spin again. Let me spin up. Vanna. If you move, I will blow your head off, all right? I can touch the screens myself. You think Howie Mandel is strapped? He's not. Go to Deal or No Deal with a fucking gun and be like, open all of them. How about that? I've been watching my friends date, and it's hard out here, you know. It's tough for people, especially because we're not kind to each other. Like, it's terrifying to be vulnerable when you know people are just ruthless, you know? And the thing I watch happen more than anything else, especially between men and women, is we'll use a stereotype to write the other person off. You know? Like, from men to women, it's crazy. It's like, oh, listen to her, she crazy as hell, crazy ass. And then for women to men, it's creepy. Oh, listen to him, he a creepy ass, creepy as hell. You know? I'm not saying those two things don't exist. I'm just saying the threshold to be those two things is incredibly low. Like, in order for a woman to be crazy, all she has to do is have a feeling, all right? Any feeling. It could be positive. She could be laughing. You're like, nah, it's crazy as hell. I don't like that. I don't want that type of laughter in my life. No, thank you. And all a dude has to do to be creepy is age. That's it. Bro, just be you and 60. Just keep living your life, but be 60. Someone will be like, I can't tell you how many times I've been out with a girlfriend. She's like, look at that creep sitting by himself at the bar. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like he's not bothering anyone. Like, let that dude be 60 somewhere. Because what I don't like about it is that it's almost always covering up a thing. It's a thing you don't want to say. So you say the thing that's a stereotype to get people on your side. You know? Like, is she crazy? Is she really crazy? or did you just get caught? So it is like half the time you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, and she caught you, and now in the face of facts and evidence and good points, all you have left is try to make her question reality, you know? That's why dudes be up here like, she believe everything she see with her eyes. She crazy as fuck. Like, I can't deal with this type. I didn't sign up for this. Like, just because she saw me do it, she gonna be like, you did it. This bitch crazy as hell. I can't. Is he creepy? Is he truly creepy? Or is he just ugly? Like, when are we gonna start being honest? I get it, he has a crush on you, and it's sweet, but when he looks at you, his eyes don't go in the same direction, and it's upsetting. But we can't just add a whole personality trait. Did we learn nothing from The Hunchback of Notre Dame? An entire Disney movie dedicated to this exact situation. Quasimodo wasn't creepy, heart of gold, but he was fucked up looking. We can all admit it. And he laid his feelings out for Esmeralda. Esmeralda did her damnedest. She really did. Quasimodo told her how he felt, and Esmeralda was like, ooh. Quasi, look, he a knight. Okay, this might be my only chance to get out the hood, all right? You understand. Which is honestly Esmeralda's loss, you know? It really is, because you know Quasimodo was packing, all right? He had to be. Nobody walks like that doesn't have a hog, all right? That whole movie that it was up here doing this shit, like, nah, he was slinging pipe, okay? And he was strong enough to ring the bell by himself. He would have split Esmeralda in two. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
The name of the tour has like so many different meanings. Like there's the 15 aspect of like trying to release 15 minutes every week. There was the, you know, the sort of freshman is like a renewal thing. Like this is my first year doing stuff the way that I've been doing it. But I still feel like so new. I still feel like a baby sometimes, because then you get around people who are just masterful. Like you see the way that they work and the way they write, or just their stage presence. So much to learn from everybody, and I feel like I'm still just soaking it all up. Like I don't know. Like I still feel like I'm like everybody's little brother sometimes, because I'm so curious about how everyone thinks and about how they put together what they put together. Watching people be so much more centered than you even know how to be, that's fascinating. And then watching someone take over with their stage presence in a way that's like magic, you know? It's like, I feel like it is like magic sometimes when you look at magicians, and magicians, a lot of them probably know what each other's tricks look like, but every once in a while somebody will create something, and they'll pull something out of nowhere that even makes the magicians go like, damn, that's wild. And I feel like that for jokes sometimes, you know, and that's what I want to create for other comics and other people. Is just like, you think you know where I'm going and you don't, you know, or just the whole overall thing was like an experience.
Y'all have great laughs. I love y'all because y'all are actually laughing. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be surprised how many people pay money to come to a comedy show, buy drinks, and then still don't laugh because they're self-conscious about their laugh. But your laugh is still you expressing joy. We can't be so hard on ourselves that we're like, no, my joy is stupid. I sound like a fucking idiot when I'm happy. I was gonna sit here and stare so I look normal. In the entire time that I've been doing comedy, I've honestly only ever heard one weird laugh. I was doing this show in Amsterdam, and there was a guy, center, dead center. I don't even remember what I said that got him so good. But this dude went to laugh, and I'm not even kidding. This is a perfect impression of his laugh. He went, Not only did I stop, the entire audience stopped. And someone sitting behind him actually jumped up and wrapped their arms around, started giving him the Heimlich. Because we were all sure, we're like, that's a dying person. There's no joy in there. I'm not gonna lie, I had a flashback just then. Like that. When you coughed, I was like, there's no way. There's no way he made it to Brooklyn. That's wild.
Logan and I actually met in Chicago, and we did a few shows together before we started really hanging out and everything. And so it's just, yeah, it's important to me to have him there for stuff, because it's someone who I think when you are on the same wavelength as a friend for long enough, you can start to look at each other like that moment, like that moment where something weird happens and then you don't have a person to look at to be like, this is insane, right? It's like Logan is that person for me when it comes to comedy. We have a good way of seeing each other, and I feel like we bring out the funniest parts of each other, so that's been great, and we've been doing that for like 3 years now. And so he's also going to be doing the Bell House tomorrow. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. I slept pretty well. I had that sleep where you fall asleep and then you wake up in a panic, thinking it's been maybe 10 minutes and it was all night, which I think is good sleep, even though you woke up like screaming. Drinking some white tea, it's apparently even better for you than green tea. And I haven't had it in a while, but I need lots of energy tonight because we have 2 shows at the Bell House. We sold them both out. So I just want to make sure it's a good show for everyone. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little, there's a hair in here. Feel free to cut this. I don't want people knowing I drink hairy tea. I mean, it's not a foreign hair. It's not like a hair that's like not from this house, It's recognizable. Now and this thing is like $16 or something. So I can't waste this cup. It's dry leaves.
I think I've been freaking out about getting older in a way. Like I feel like it's hard not to compare yourself with anyone else your age and just or anyone in your career and everything, and wonder if you're not aging in like the right way, And I wanna, I don't know, I wanna age as best as possible because it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. But there's just so many, there's only a few lanes, it seems, as an old man that you can go. There's only a few directions. You could be creepy old man. You could be like an angry old man. You could be a sweet old man. Or you could just have dementia. Like, it's just, these aren't a lot of great options. And I'm scared because I don't know how much you choose. Like, life keeps happening and you keep reacting to it, and every reaction feels rational, but who's to say? I'm scared I'm gonna become like an angry old man because I already hate kids. But not kids at large, not kids as an idea. I got beef with specific children there's a few of them already that like, ooh, one day, you know what I mean? Like just, I'll tell you about one of them. I was walking down the street and I was minding my own business, how most of my stories start, right? And then there was this Girl Scout. No, you need to be on my side, all right? I'm gonna tell you what she did, just listen, okay? I was walking down the street and there was this Girl Scout and she over here working her little corner or whatever, like. And she laying it on thick too, like cookies, and like all that stuff. And so I'm walking and then I'm trying to just avoid eye contact because she already not at my height level, so I'm just staring straight ahead and she like cookies, all that stuff, right? And then she like leaned in just to make eye contact and was like cookies, and I was like, oh no, I'm okay. Thank you so much though. You have a wonderful day. I said all that. I didn't need to say all that. I didn't say all that at all. I could have just kept walking. I could have acted like something was playing in my AirPod, like something, right? But I said that because I'm like, look, she out here, young woman trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm gonna give her an encouraging word, okay? I'm not gonna give her any money, but she's gonna, get good vibes off me. So I'm walking. I'm like, oh, no, thank you, but you have a great day. And I'm not even past her yet. She's still right here. As I get closer, she goes, it's okay if you're broke. What? What? Who? What do you do next? Do you know what I mean? This is crazy. This is just, and so that I shouldn't have stopped. I should not have stopped. I should have just kept going about my day. But now I'm like level with, and I stopped. I was like, excuse me? And she goes, it's okay if you're broke. She said it again. That's the Bronx. Like that's something specific in a person. To say that I'm closer to you now. That's crazy. You're out here by yourself. Where are your parents? You're out here selling cookies on the corner talking shit. That's so insane. And it's like, what do you do next? I can't just be out here yelling at this. I can't just be a grown black man out here on the street yelling at a little girl holding cookies. Fox News would have a fucking field day. If I'm just out here, they get a still of me like, she's holding the cookies like this. New York Post, black man strikes again. That's... No, what do you do? So I hit her with everything that felt like within the parameters of polite conversation to do. I told her, I was like, Santa ain't real, all right? Too fair. No, because she was gonna find out anyway. And with a little girl like this, Santa ain't coming anyway. So like, let me just... I'm like, Tooth Fairy ain't real, Easter Bunny ain't real. And she was like, I know. And you don't have any real money. And I left because what do you do? So I left, but I was like, I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna pray. All right? I'm gonna pray against this little girl. Lord, just keep it that same size her whole life, just. It was a while back where I still hadn't got like my money right. And I remember the AirPods came out, Apple AirPods, and I don't know why, but I wanted them. And I don't even know why I think I wanted them because I knew I couldn't afford them. It was just something to have, right? Something to use as a marker to be like, I got it like that now, right? And so I'd saved up a little bit, but I still didn't have enough. Now I was getting close, and I decided, no, I'm not gonna spend this on something material. I'm gonna take this money, and I'm gonna spend it on something that could be like a memory, something that I won't lose, something that can't just break, right? And so I took a trip to Mexico, and when I was in Mexico, I saw some knockoff AirPods. And they were cheap, and they weren't just cheap by conversion rate, they were cheap in pesos. They were so cheap, I thought they were a toy, right? But I was like, let's roll the dice and see if these really work, right? If they compare to my phone and everything. And so I bought them, I brought them home, and I opened the box. Now the box was bigger than AirPod box usually is. And then I opened it up, and then the AirPods were like 3 times bigger than AirPods are supposed to be. So first of all, when I put them in, they genuinely hurt. Like these, like, I don't have the biggest ears, but these were hurt. I had to wrench them in. I had to like use leverage to squeeze them into my head. And then, you know how they're supposed to come here? Like, it's like they were hanging low. Like, it's like, anybody that could see me could see these weren't real AirPods. They look like 2 wrenches hanging out of my head. And so I remember I turned them on and I had to press the button because they were so big, they had buttons. All right, so I pressed the button and it didn't even make a technology sound. It wasn't like, it was like, immediately. And I don't know if this is related, but as soon as I turned them on, my balls hurt. I don't know if that's part of it, but I turned them on and it was like, immediately. And so I turned them on, and then while I had them on, my mom called me. And I've never used any sort of listening device that could connect to Bluetooth where somebody called you and sounded like they were behind you. Like, I hit the button to answer the call. I was like, ding, ding, and then, because you had the ding, ding, and then I hit the ding, ding, and then I was like, hey, Mom, and she was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh. And I tried it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, every day, I was like, it's not gonna hurt tomorrow. Kept putting them in my head, kept wrenching them in. It took 3 wrenches to get them in. It was like, doom, 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 and they both be in, and like, and like, every day for 3 weeks, right? And then finally, I had to hang it up. I was like, you know what? If you want something, you gotta get the real thing, you know? You gotta get the genuine product. And so I went ahead, I put them up, stopped using them, saved up my money, got some real AirPods. But then the real AirPods, they didn't fit in my ear because I had stretched it so much. And my right one snapped back a little bit, but my left one still loose. Like, my ear ussy is not tight at all. It's loose as hell. And so if I even yawn, the left one fall out. The left one is consistently in danger. I only put the right one in on a plane. I can't risk it.
So conveniently, I just happened to have the cue cards from when I did Tonight Show.
Our next guest can be seen at the Helium Comedy Club.
Oh yeah, I was doing the clubs that week. And Josh Johnson, see him at the Helium Comedy Club
in St. Louis, November 2nd and 3rd.
Please welcome the very funny
Josh Johnson!
And then these are the jokes I did.
Guys, I'm Josh Johnson. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great night.
We'll be right back.
Josh Johnson!
So we are on our way to the Bell House right now. It's finally happening. We're about to get ready for the show. Yeah, still pretty, I don't know, still pretty, like, nervous in a sense, because I'm a little, this is very unprofessional of me, but I'm a little unsure of exactly what I want to do as far as, like, I've got the set, but then joke to joke, I'm like wondering if little middle pieces need to be there and stuff like that. So it's like still just tinkering with it in my head and stuff. And there's nothing that I think is gonna bomb. And I think that is most of what doing comedy is like. Everything that I'm gonna do tonight, I think works. So if it doesn't, that will be news to me. I have this one that I'm really excited to do because it's like, I've done it a couple times before, but it's about someone that I know and how she did ayahuasca for the first time. And yeah.
I've been doing my best to read more, and there's a thing I've been thinking about all year, about how back in the earliest civilizations, if someone wanted to seek a higher self, they always sought some sort of deity. There was a god that them and their tribe worshipped, that made them feel closer to something bigger. And as society progressed and you had slightly more modern civilization, still ancient to us, it splintered a little bit. There was a god, but then there was also spirituality. You could seek a higher self. And then there was also the tribe or the state. There became a thing of, as long as it's not about me, then maybe it can be bigger than me. And then you fast forward to modern times, to today, and it's completely splintered off. Some people, it's still God, some sort of spirituality. Other people, it's a cause. It's something that they feel they can use to make the world a better place, leave it better than they found it. I have a friend who seeks her higher self through drugs. Like mind expanding, mind altering drugs to get a better sense of who she is, whatever that bigger self is supposed to be. And she told me a little while back that she did ayahuasca. And she had always been terrified to do ayahuasca because she wasn't sure of the place that it would take her, and she was ready to see herself in that light. And she told me, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? Good for you. There was something you were scared to do, and you did it. You made it happen, right? And we were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, it's just so serendipitous. I was just at the grocery store, and I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I was at the grocery store near my place. And I was like, you did in Brooklyn? Like, what? I thought you flew to Peru or something. It's like, yeah, I did at the grocery store near my place. I met this guy and we got to talking and we were on the same vibe, and he told me that he had some, and I was like, wait. You know how black people have a reputation for talking during the movie? I was doing that the whole story. Like, she's telling me about a story in the past and I'm still like, bitch, get out the room. Get out the room. It's like, yeah, so when, we were talking, we were on similar wavelength and everything. And so, I went back to his place with him because he said that he had some. And he showed me how to do it. And honestly, as soon as I smoked it, and I was like, what? I don't know if y'all have ever done ayahuasca. I've never done ayahuasca. But every documentary I've watched about ayahuasca, it's a drink. There's never a pipe involved. And she was like, yeah, as soon as I smoked it, I could just feel like I felt so much energy. I could feel like my ancestors rushing through me and everything. And I was like, oh, Bethany, you smoked crack. Like, I hate to be the one to tell you. You seem excited about everything that happened. I hate to break to you, but you got me more discerning. This is insane. I could just feel like the ancestors coursing through me. It's like, are you related to Reagan? Like, what are you talking about? It's chaos.
Comedy was the first way I learned how to really communicate with people. And so watching other people communicate, even if I'm just watching my friend's show, like I'm gonna watch Logan go up tonight, I'm gonna watch Onika before I go up. I think that you get such a slice of a person and who they are when you watch them do comedy. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Do you get nervous? Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous yet. It might hit me in a little bit. Probably when the show is starting, I'll probably get a little nervous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like I don't get, once I'm up, everything is fine.
Yeah, once I'm up, it goes away. But it's it'll start
yeah.
Once they start, pre-show announcements or whatever, once lights change, then there'll be a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of times not much, but maybe for something like this, maybe a little bit more.
Once I am up there, though, I feel like I am where I'm supposed to be. So it all sort of melts away.
I'm very grateful, though, to a good portion of my family. Family teaches you how to deal with the same type of people that you're going to meet out in the world as them, right? I feel like I deal with crazy people well because my uncle. My uncle is a conspiracy theorist, but he don't believe in any of the popular ones. Everything my uncle say, I've never heard anybody else say in my entire life. I was at my uncle's house one time. I was just chilling with him, right? sitting there watching TV. Out of nowhere, my uncle turns to me during a commercial, and he goes, "You know them kangaroos is a myth." What do you say to that? What do you say next to something like that? What's the plan now? You know what I mean? And this is my thing with conspiracies, is that if there's money to follow, I can understand how somebody got there, right? I'm not saying it makes it true. I'm not saying it's any less crazy, but money is an incredible motivator. It's one of the most powerful ones that we have as people. So if there's money to follow, I could see how someone arrived at some sort of conclusion, as crazy as it may be. So I asked him, who is making money off of all of us believing in kangaroos? And without missing a beat, he was like, "I bet them zoos making a pretty penny." It's like, that's... What's wrong with you? Like, what, like, you think there's just a guy? You think there's just a guy in a suit, just a former Olympian jumping as high as he can for 8 hours a day? He's like, "You making some good points." I'm like, I'm not in it. I'm asking you questions. I don't agree with your thing. Don't do that. I sat down with this man and watched an 1.5 hour documentary about kangaroos that I didn't need because I'm a believer. And at the end, he just turns to me, he's like, "That's a deep fake. I know a deep fake when I see one." I'm like, you're beyond help. I think that's why I'm so freaked out about getting older. It's the way that we treat people who are older. It's who we turn into when we get older. You know? Like I've had the blessing of being around people who were much, much, much older than me. There's a relative I have. He's so old, we don't know how old he is. We just, and now he can't even tell us. He's like, from before. A lot has happened. You know, but we know he's over 90 because he got that 90 face. You know what I'm talking about? He already got that. Everybody in here who knows my 90 know what I'm talking about. They all make the same face. They're always like, "Huh!" Non-stop. No matter where you take them, every all the time. It's like they're surprised they're still alive. Like every night they go to sleep and they wake up, they think it's gonna be heaven and it's regular earth. And they're like, "Oh! I'm so old!" And I used to wonder why they made that face, and I think I figured it out. All of us are still living in the world. We're still active participants in the world. Things happen in the world, we react to them in real time. We still affect change in the world. He's not like that. He's been retired for decades. He's been sitting on a couch watching Westerns. He's not in the world. So every once in a while, somebody tells him something that's happening in the world, and he's shocked. And that's what you're seeing is permanent shock face on people in their 90s. Because I'll say something I don't even think is that groundbreaking. You know, I'll just be chilling with him. And he'll be like, "Ah! They made women's basketball?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, a long time ago. When are you from?" You know? But it is a blessing to have people like that in my life. It actually, you know, I appreciate it for what it is. And I hope I get to live that long. But if I do, then I'm gonna have a thing. There's gonna be one day where I'm like, "Ah!" It makes me wonder what mine is gonna be. You know? Like, it's probably gonna be a sex thing. I feel like social stuff, I'm pretty malleable and things sort of roll off my shoulder, but I think one day in 2050, I'll be sitting there like, "Huh! They're sucking elbows now? That's pretty docile. It'll probably be worse than that. Has somebody ever asked you to do something in bed that made you go like, Did the last guy do it? Because like if the last guy did that, I'll do it. But if you just came up with this, I don't feel comfortable, all right? Don't get me wrong, if the last guy did it, I'll do it. I'm not gonna be outdone. But if you just came up with this, I need to do some research because I've never heard of that before. I just don't want to do something for someone and then they go out in the world and they're like, Josh loves sucking an elbow. It's like, no, don't do that. Tell him you asked me to, all right? Tell him you had to ask me twice, okay? Because first I said no, then I said, then I did it. I sucked a girl elbow one time, but she asked me to. I didn't get it either. It didn't make sense to me. Sitting there like, is your wiener stimulated? Like, no. Like y'all look like y'all are together, you know? It's just extra skin. That's what's weird. Like y'all might go home later and get a little freaky and everything, and like, look at your elbow and look at his balls. That's the same skin, you know what I mean? That's why I don't like when women are like, ugh, balls are gross. It's like, you got balls too, bitch. Don't do that.
How do you feel the tour has been this year? Because this kind of whole year has been the freshman tour. And we've been a lot of different places, both flying, road trips, a little mix of everything. How's that all, when you look back on it?
When I look back, I feel really good about it because I think that I think that we've both grown, and I also feel like we've made better and better shows. Oh well, now you're ruining it. Don't touch me. This is terrible.
Sorry, this is actually how we are. I'm sorry if it's bad for this. This is.
I think that we've made better and better shows for people to come to.
I think so.
I think that for the most part, I can't help but be happy with everything. And then it's great to meet people afterwards and hang out with them and talk to them and stuff. I'm always bummed out when there's like too much of a time crunch to do the meet and greet. Like if we have to leave or something. Yeah. Or if there's another show right after or something, like that always makes me a little sad because I do like to meet everyone and I don't know, I'm a chatty guy.
Yes. And that's why sometimes with meet and greets, I'm working as security to keep it moving.
Josh and Logan to the stage, please.
Yeah.
I do want to take a second to thank every single one of you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Like, my life really changed this year, and it's because of y'all. You know? Like, this has been, you know, my dream to do this since I was a little kid. And I'm doing it now because of y'all, you know? I think if it wasn't for y'all, I'd just be in a room by myself, which would be pretty jarring, you know? Because to me, comedy is a lot like magic, you know? If a magician is doing tricks for nobody in the room, he's just a person lying to himself. I'm about to make this disappear. It's in my hand. You know? And it's the same way for comedy. If I was here without you, I'd just be sitting in a room by myself being like, maybe this is a good idea. So I appreciate y'all. And I've had to do a lot of self-reflection this year. Maybe I can make this idea make sense. Okay, there's a person that I think that I am, and a person that I actually am. I spend all my time trying to make sure that those two people are the same person. Does that make sense? I don't want to walk around delusional, not really know myself, what I'm like, you know. Best example I can give is years ago, I was at this 4th of July celebration. It was going to be the biggest one that the county I was in had ever put on. They had spent thousands and thousands of dollars for these like tubed cannons pointing straight up, right? And they set them up all the way down the parking lot, all the way down the beach, almost to the water. And at 8 o'clock, they start firing them off. It's the loudest thing I've ever heard. And it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen because it took up the entire sky. I still don't know what went wrong. But out of nowhere, 2 rows of the cannons fell over. So now they're shooting at us. And so we scatter, right? And as I'm running, I see this one woman off by herself. As the fireworks are shooting past her, she's just going, oh. And it's like, first of all, what is your plan here, ma'am? Your whole face is still, what is this hand protecting? And then a dude who I have to assume was her husband because he didn't look like a boyfriend because he didn't look good. You know what I mean? Like, he just, I don't know, he had those bad knees like he played football in the 70s or something. He's like, I'm coming, baby. And he made his way over to her. And she's right here, right? And when he runs over and he gets to her, he does this. Like a standing spread eagle to cover his wife from the oncoming fireworks, right? And then a whistler. I don't know if you know which one that is, but it does a tight circle, no color. One of those is coming right at him, all right? And then right when the whistler was to him, where you are to me, he went, oh, and then moved out of the way. His wife caught the full shit in the chest. It was exploding on her chest. And I don't know if you know if you watch anime growing up, but it looked like the bitch was powering up. Like she was like, oh! She looked like Goku for 6 seconds. Like, oh! She got so bright, I was like, she dead. There is no way. But that's what I mean. There's a dude he thought he was. And a dude he actually was. Because in his mind, he was the type of dude to take a whistler to the chest for his wife. But in real life, he was a dude willing to find a new wife. Like, that's... Thank y'all so much. I'm Josh Johnson. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for coming out. And there's a lot more to come. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah. No, I'm pretty nervous. I might still botch this entire thing. Like this may be wholly unusable. If anybody sees this, it means I thought maybe I slid into home, or maybe we just spent enough money that it would be insane to not put it up. Do you know what I mean? It's like it would be a waste to just not use any of this, even if I did kind of botch it. I mean, do I sound okay? I think I'm getting a sinus infection. Like, as I'm talking to you, I'm getting, like, drainy. I'm just going to do something to, like, say thank you for everything. So I'm going to read it to you. You just tell me if it's, like, I don't know, if it sounds okay. All right, ready? When I started in Chicago, I couldn't really dream of doing what I'm doing now. This tour has been life-changing, and getting to come back to one of the places that feels most like home made it even more special. Thank you is too few words to describe the gratitude I have for every one of you, but here it goes. Thank you for every ticket that you bought. Thank you for every video you watch. Thank you for saying what's up or love your stuff on the street. Thank you for putting the people you know onto me. Thank you for every comment. Thank you for every video shared. Thank you for following with me as I evolve. Thank you for enjoying the climb. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for being my friends. Oh, and thanks for having patience with me. Yeah.
Make it loud right now for my friend Josh Johnson!
Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Was a thing that I found myself saying. I was with my friends and we were hiking, which was a mistake. Hiking, I don't hike often. Even the first time I went hiking was a bit of a trick, because they said it was a walk, which is technically not a lie, but it's not the walk I was anticipating. You can walk places. I could walk here. Hiking is going up nature steps for no reason. I'm not being a hater, by the way. If you like to hike, hike. Go take a hike. But if you want me to hike with you, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just good enough company that they're like, oh, we'll miss them. Let's hike together. As soon as I'm walking up, we have a problem. I like a walk. I like to go on a walk. That's how they got me. As soon as I'm walking and the steps are not, we've figured out steps. We have figured out the rise and the run that'll actually be decent on your hips. You want to get some exercise? Walk up that thing that Rocky ran up. This thing, I was like, eventually I'm like, where are we going? And they're like, to see the view. It's a beautiful day. We figured we go for a hike to see the beautiful view. And I'm like, oh, because you called it a walk. And then we hike. And we hike. I think about how the word hike got started. It's probably somebody going up for no reason, seeing somebody coming down, because that's the other thing. Whenever you go hike, there'll be people who already hiked that you'll see on the way, and they'll give you hope. It's sick. It's sick. They will give you hope because now that it's easier to go down. You can fall down. It's easy to go down. So then the people that hiked up already, they were already tall. They were already there. And then now they turn around, and when they see you, you'll ask a question, like I ask a question, because I'm not enjoying hiking. So then I'm like, how much further? And I hate the way I ask. It's not exactly a manly way to ask. I'm not even putting on any like tough face. I'm like, how much further? And then they're like, you're almost there, and it's beautiful. Two lies in one sentence. Two. It feels like you're almost there to them because they turned around. They're going down now. It's easy. Going down is, ooh, smooth. They forgot when they were where we are. They've turned around. They don't even care how long it takes to get down because you're always almost down. If you get real tired of walking down, you can lean. Gravity will take care of the rest. It's gonna be beautiful. And then you keep walking. And then eventually you see another person. And you're like, huh, that's crazy. I probably shouldn't see another person because I was almost there when I saw the last person. And you see the next person, the next person, just as optimistic. It's gross. Just as happy. I barely even got out the sentence to the next person. And they're like, oh, it's just a little bit further, and beautiful. Don't ever do that for anything but food. Don't stop acting like you can taste experience. The view, like. Did you walk up with your mouth open? Why? What's wrong with you? And luckily, this person, this liar, had a friend, a reluctant friend, a friend like me. Because they were like, oh, no, you're going to love it. You're almost there. It's beautiful. And then their friend was like, friend's over here. Which is also crazy. I was like, why were they just telling us with their eyes? Like, clearly, I don't know. It felt like they were in a relationship. Or one of them was trying to be. Like, that was a weird get out signal. It was a weird, like. You know when somebody shakes their head and the jowls really go like. We go up. We go up. We go up. And then I see another person. I see another person. And they're coming down. And when I see them, I'm like, and who knows? Maybe it was like looking to them. Maybe we were having a very specific moment. Maybe they used to be like me because they somehow, genuinely, they somehow understood me. And they were like, it's right behind me. Kept walking down. And then we get up there and I see the view. That is cloudy. I walked all the way up here to see stuffing. Like it looked like, you know, like when a dog rip up a toy real good. Bunch of white clouds, some gray. I didn't know we walked this high. At one point I had to ask myself, I'm like, am I still alive? Like this. Is this happening? Is what was going through my head when I saw it coming at us. This turtle. The turtle was coming at, and not just a turtle coming at us, a turtle was coming at us fast. None of this should be happening. I'm at the top of a mountain with a fast turtle locking in on me. The turtle is coming so fast. And when I tell you fast, I don't mean fast for a turtle. I mean actually fast. I mean it like almost broke my brain. Fast. A turtle. And not like fast like, not like storybook fast, not like sloppy fast, which felt faster. It was really like flip, 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 but at like warp speed. It's crazy. It was, guys, y'all, listen. I was losing my mind because it wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't fast the way a roach can be fast. It was fast like a turtle put on fast forward. This turtle is over here coming directly at me. And so appropriately, I scream. And this is what sucked about that day. I'm already out of breath from my walk up. So I can't breathe enough to scream, and I'm also scareder than I've been in several days. Because a turtle is zooming at me fast. And so then I've got my phone in my hand, and this is the worst part. Okay, so I scream, but I scream with the phone in the hand. And when you, maybe this is like a man thing. Maybe this might sound insane to some of y'all. But as a man, when you scream and you're genuinely scared, you hope you don't have anything in your hands. Because the way your hands shake the thing in your hands betrays how scared you are. If I scream, but I don't have anything in my hands, I'm like, ah! That's life. I had my phone in my hand, so I had a visible representation of how terrified I was, because the phone is like, ah! If the phone had moved a centimeter in my hand, it'd be like, he's not even really that scared, he's just surprised. The phone moved easily a foot and a half. Ah! And then I seemed insane to my friends because I saw it first. So for them, I'm someone who they admittedly tricked into hiking, and I was huffing and puffing, and everyone we saw was like, how much further? How much further? And now we're at the top, and they're mad too. All they see are clouds. We probably shouldn't have done this. There's plenty of places to exercise. And then they're looking out at this disappointing view, and they hear, ah! It would have been better if I had dropped my phone, because I'm screaming and I'm back, ah! And then the turtle is coming at me. And then everybody sees it. And this is where I lose people and people lose me, because then this is where the story gets muddy, right? Because we all ran. Everybody ran. I turned around, everybody with me. So we were all scared. And everybody ran, right? But then, after we run, after we're safe, now they want to tell me that wasn't a turtle. I saw it first. I saw it the longest. I decided what it was. And I'm not even saying I decide what it was because I'm always right. I'm just saying I think I should get to decide what it is because I was staring at it the longest and it was coming right at me. Terrifying stuff, you know? Do you like care? Do you, like, not about that. Do you do you care? Because, okay, there are things that happen sometimes that no one can agree on, like, the proper etiquette for how to handle. Because there's enough going on socially that people start making up rules as they go to sort of get through life. And then after a while, you know, now that we're not like in the wilderness anymore, and now that we have like modern technology, now there's a little bit of breakdown. There's a little bit of breakdown in like what's proper etiquette, right? So for me, this is my thing, and I'm not asking you, don't say anything out loud. Answer the question in your head, because I cannot tell, and I've had countless arguments about this. Is it messier to answer the phone on speakerphone and not tell somebody they're on speakerphone? Or is it messier to call somebody knowing you want to talk mess and there's a possibility of being on speakerphone? It's hard to tell. They're both not good. It's happened many times. Many times I've been in the car with somebody and they throw speakerphone on. They either are, you know, trying to drive responsibly, or they just love answering on speakerphone because they love having their hands free and they don't have their AirPods in or whatever, right? One time, I was with some friends and they were calling some family. We're in the car and family member picks up, but it's not who they call, it's the kid. The kid calls, it's like, hi. And we're like, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, I'm good. And this kid doesn't care that they're on speakerphone. They don't have anything to say that's like, you know, hush hush. But they're like, what are you doing? And the kid is like, oh, I'm just eating hot dogs and sitting on toilet. Okay. Okay. Good talk, buddy. Many times it's been, you know, conversation, calling, answer, speakerphone. I personally think that if I call you and you pick up and I'm on speakerphone, speakerphone should be my last name. You're on speakerphone should be my last name. Hey, Josh, you're on speakerphone. A simple warning. And I'm not even like messy like that, but still, what if something happens in real time? I should know when I'm in mixed company and when I'm in the company of the person that I called. I wasn't in the car for this one. But okay. let's just call them Mark and Sarah. Mark had been away on some business, and this was back in the day before like Uber, so you really needed somebody to pick you up from the airport if you didn't park your car at the airport beforehand. You know, you could call a taxi, but it'd be quite a while and everything, right? And so Sarah's mom picked up Mark at the airport, and they had schemed together to surprise Sarah with him being back in town early, because she was already supposed to have a little picnic with her mom, and it was just going to be one of those picnics where it's like the mom comes in, she's like, "Who's that behind you?" "It's Mark." "Oh, wow." Before YouTube, so it wouldn't have gone viral. And so then Sarah's mom, thinking it would be like a cute little thing to like tee up what they were about to do, calls Sarah just to be like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. I'm excited for our picnic." "Oh, so am I. Have you talked to Mark today?" "No, I haven't talked to him today." "Oh, okay. I was just wondering." Just, a little primer for the surprise, right? And so she calls her, and she's on speakerphone, and Sarah picks up, and she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Excited for our picnic." "Oh, so am I. Have you talked to Mark today?" "No. We haven't talked today. And honestly, it's probably important that we do, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's just hard. I feel like the spark is like gone. Like it's just... and maybe you went through this thing with Dad, but just, I don't know, like, sometimes he's gone, and I'm like, all right. This doesn't really feel like it used to or anything. And even when he gets back, I'm like, not that excited. I should be more excited. I don't know, like, it's probably... We should probably get a divorce. Like, if I've been feeling this way for so long. And Sarah's mom looks over at Mark like, "Ugh." You know when you can't cringe enough? I've never been driving for it, but like I imagine that steering wheel was going through it. She had to be gripping that thing. Like the car was about to take off and fly away. And then she goes, "Well, sweetie, Mark's with me now." And Mark goes, "Hey, honey." Then she goes, "Oh." "Do you think we should get a divorce?" And it's like, do you even care that you're on speakerphone? Like, I am not like a tough guy. Sometimes I've like wanted to be a tough guy before. Especially when I was like little, I wanted to be like, tough. I'd even try to break the rules sometimes. You know what I mean? I'd have a pen, and I'd walk right up to like a white wall and be like, vandalism. Deal with it. Like I wanted to like be bad, but I just didn't. I didn't have it. Even now, it's like it's never done a drug. I don't drink or anything. One time I was like, you know what? Why should I deprive myself? Everybody seems like they're having so much fun. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a virgin margarita. I wonder what the flavor is. I've never had margarita flavor before. So I had a virgin margarita. Turns out, way too sweet. Like, ridiculously sweet. I used to be a bar back where I served people virgin margaritas. No wonder they got so drunk. These are delicious. I didn't have any alcohol, but I was like, I think I'll have another. I think I'll have another. I think I'll have another. To the point where I did get sick. I got sick off virgin margaritas. And like real sick too. Like, called my friends. I was so sick. I was with some friends. I called other friends. I called friends to be like, you know, y'all been drunk before. Y'all have had your benders and everything. I don't have any alcohol in me, but I got like the other half. I got like all the sugars. My stomach hurt. And like, look, I don't like that it happened, but I was not throwing up. I was just saying ooh a lot because it felt like I was gonna throw up. So I kept being like because then you know when you think you're about to throw up, so you start arguing with yourself, where you're like no. I'm telling my friends, I don't, and they're like, do you need us to take you to the hospital? I don't know if I'd live it down. I don't know if I could live down being rushed to the hospital off virgin margaritas. Maybe having to get my stomach pumped off virgin margaritas because I ingested a childish amount of sugar. But they were like, I called my friend, and do you need us to take you to the hospital? I was like, who is us? And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, you're on speakerphone. There's no way to take your cool back off speakerphone. I was so embarrassed. I was on speakerphone, and then I muted. I don't know what I was thinking. I was drunk off virgin margaritas. But those are the things I've been thinking about because I've been watching what's happened. Whether you like Jimmy Kimmel or not, whether you watch the show, whether you care about his show or him or Or like, oh, it's television. I've heard all the excuses. The excuses came quick. The excuses came quick because this is unprecedented. And when things are unprecedented, you wonder if should you do something. And you don't have to do anything if there's an excuse. You don't have to do anything if it's okay. I've heard people, oh, well, I'm sure they were losing money anyway. No. Oh, well, you know, I don't really like what he said. What'd he say? Oh, no, you know, this thing was a long time coming because of how he's been acting. How has he been acting? Help me understand. Because the thing about free speech, especially like free speech warriors, you always have to be careful. Who actually cares about everybody's speech, who's an actual absolutist, and who's just trying to like get in, who's just trying to sneak in, you know? Because there are some people who have some heinous things to say, and they want to be able to say those things, and they use free speech as their anchor. That's their end. They wedge themselves in that way. But then, when it's their turn to talk, what they actually want is for other people to not be able to talk. That's what they've wanted for a long time. Like I'm blown away about a thing that we've done since I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, it was explained to me that we had all these sorts of rights, and that these rights were fought for, and that these rights were things that we had that other people didn't have. There are other people in other countries that weren't as fortunate to have the rights that we have, right? And there's always been something that bothered me about that sentiment, about that idea. Because your freedom, your freedom it's yours because it's yours. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can make you as free as you were born. Life gives you freedom. You're supposed to be free. You're supposed to be able to say the things that you think. You're supposed to be able to express yourself. Government can't give you freedom. It can definitely try to take things away, but even within what it tries to take away, it can't really take it away because the freedom wasn't given to you by the government to take away. Government can... You could buy a house at auction. Let's say somebody fell behind on their property taxes, so now their property's up for auction. You buy it, then you fall behind on those same property taxes. Government takes it away. It was never really yours. Freedom doesn't work that way. And so we walk around and we talk about how we have all these freedoms. These are our freedoms, and they're not from a government. These are God-given things. These are things that you were born with. These are things that nobody can take away. Even if they try. Even if they try. Look, they've tried with people throughout history. And there are people that live in a world without those freedoms, right? But even the resistance to express yourself is still your freedom trying to like sprout out of all of that cover. Your freedom is yours. I can't stress it enough. It's like saying, government, let me keep all my toes. Well, the government can only try to take away toes. They don't really hand out toes. It feels like you're giving the government an awful lot of credit. It's your freedom. It was given to you by something that outlasts all of this stuff. You know what I mean? And it can't really be taken away. You can be manipulated, and you can be scared. You could be angry enough, like some people are angry enough, to let someone's freedom of speech be taken away. You could be fearful. You could be so fearful that just the threat of an investigation, just the threat of some sort of government overreach makes you cave before there's even a solidified threat there. You know, you have a fear, you have an anger, You can have a hate that goes deeper than an anger. You can be so confused about what's going on, you just want someone to make a definitive statement about anything. You'll just go with it because you hate not knowing, you hate uncertainty. And then you see something like what happened to Jimmy Kimmel happen. And then you see people ask, is this really happening? Because it was never supposed to be able to happen here. And it's because of a lie that we told ourselves. We told ourselves that every country and everyone was different from us. Which is why we don't recognize ourselves when things that are only supposed to happen in other places happen here. You know? That's low-key the American way. The American way is to be like, well, look, of course it would happen there. It's because they're not over here. And it's like, no, whatever it is, happened over there because it could happen anywhere, especially if you're not vigilant, especially if you think that things won't happen to you just because. There is no more just because. Is this really happening? Yes, it's happening. As wild as it may seem, as surreal as it is, you know, it's coming, and it's coming fast, like a turtle that shouldn't be on a mountain. Is this happening? Yes, it is happening. This is happening. There's no way around it. The people who are okay with it are okay with it for now. But there are plenty of people that I don't even like, that have the presence of mind to know that this is not just crazy, this is unacceptable. This cannot happen here. It can't happen here. Because, look, this is the other scary thing about government. And I'm not just trying to scare you. I'm just telling you everything that I've seen, everything I've ever read about, and people from other countries that have different life experiences to us. I'm telling you what they're saying, right? Pendulum swing. And one thing that governments don't do, hardly any government does, is give back the power it took in some way. You know what I mean? If you give over to fear, if you give them these things, they will be given and taken for good. There's no way around it. And we've already seen you cannot do enough. You will not be good enough. You won't be complacent enough. You can't placate enough to make it stop. It will not stop. They came for a white man with money. Do you know how nervous that makes a black guy? They came for a white man with money that really didn't do anything. Yeah. And when I say really didn't do anything, people can go back and forth about trying to cherry pick or like the phrase of a thing, or here's what I thought he said when he said whatever. That does not matter. That actually gets us into a conversation we shouldn't even be in, because it shouldn't even be on the table, all right? It is not going to just go away, and it's not going to just stop. So then it's important. Do you care? Because if you care, that's very different. If you're scared, it's understandable. Plenty of people are scared. People with money are scared. ABC was scared. Disney was scared. You know Disney. Oh, you know Disney. Disney was scared. Disney, the same people who come up from behind you if you draw a picture of Mickey and go, what do you think you're doing with that, huh? Huh? We'll change the fair use laws and we'll make this illegal. Those people were scared. Being scared is human. But not doing anything is a choice, and not making your voices heard, and not you don't just take for granted what's happening. I think that there is, in my opinion, not enough alarm bells sounding. You know what I mean? Because we all saw it, but it's like in a hush, in a whisper, and I'm wondering why that is, because this man still loses in court. Just today, a judge threw out some $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. When these things go to court, they don't not just win, they don't prevail, they don't proceed, because under the law they are illegal, you know? And any sort of strong arming by the government should really sound the alarms for any citizen. Pendulums swing. Governments do not give back power that they've taken. 9/11 was a long time ago. When did we get our privacy back? You know what I mean? So if it happened with privacy and then became normal and then you didn't really care, the same thing could happen with speech. All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I guess I should get Grok to proofread my sentiments on the day. You're not alone in being worried, you're not alone in being fearful, you're not alone in being angry. The thing about not being alone is that you just have to find the other people. You have to find the other people who feel the way that you feel, and you have to stay in communion with them as strong as you can. Because it's the other people who feel the way you feel that will stop you from feeling crazy. And it is the only thing. That's the only thing that will, if you keep the phone in your face, you will feel like you're losing your mind. Because it's all happening so fast, all happening all the time. Like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not. I almost die off virgin margaritas. And I screamed. I screamed. And I ran from a turtle. But I can't run from this, and neither can you. I love you all, and we have each other, okay? Thank you all so much. Thanks for coming out.
When I